How long have you been here?
Well, not very long. I just had an idea that really couldn't wait.
I mean, I'm kind of in the middle of something.
I mean, it's a vibration pad. I feel like you can still listen.
Okay, what is it?
Okay, cool. I'm gonna tell you all about it.
Hi, hello, welcome back. My name is Betty and this is Happy Little Loop Crochet, and today, you guys, I had an idea and I don't have any markets in the end of May or the beginning of June, so I figured I'll just share it with you guys and hopefully someone can get some good out of this because I honestly think it's kind of a fantastic idea. So if you remember last week when we were having our conversation on markets and keeping your market fresh, keeping it unique, and just kind of keeping it different enough to where when you're at the same market with another crocheter, you guys are, making sales based off of your work and not based off of price. I talked about one of the patterns that I had offered to you guys being great for like a Build-A-Bear situation. Choose your stethoscope and you can have like 4 or 5 pre-made stethoscopes in cute colors, and then they can choose the color they want, and then all of a sudden you're Build-A-Bear. And after I was done editing that video, I was like, graduation is coming up, and I know that one of my Instagram friends has a free crochet pattern for a little graduation cap. So I went over to her page, Pumpkin Patch Crochet. Pumpkin is her cat. It's a cute little orange cap. Lauren wrote up this pattern 2 years ago, so I was like delving deep into the files of my brain to come up with this. And she wrote up this little free graduation cap, and I went ahead and I tried it out, and it's super fast, super easy to make. Now, she wrote it using a pattern by Flying Fox Crochet as like the base to put the cap on, but obviously you can put this cap on anything it'll fit on. So I made it up, and then I went digging around in my saved files folder to find some appropriate little bases for it, basically little cute animals, and I wanted to make sure they were all free patterns so we're not adding any financial strain. But of course you can also use this little cap with any of your existing patterns that you haven't yet used from your library. In my mind, this would be perfect for setting up kind of a little build your own bear station at your market booth. And so in my mind, a few plushies that you could print up a sign and put the pictures of the plushies and then put, add a graduation cap for X amount of dollars. Or you could just put graduation plushie and then one price, right? So like each of the plushies would be one price no matter which one they choose, which I think is probably the better way to go. So for the patterns that I chose to put forth for you today, I decided to choose them all in the upper of that mid-range tier. Since graduation is kind of a special time, I figured people would want more of a special memento as opposed to, like a little plushy memento. But I will say the little duck from last week's video does work with the graduation cap. So if you are wanting to go the quicker, smaller, faster route, the duck does work. But for the rest of the patterns, I did go ahead and I stuck to the upper mid-range of those patterns. So all of these are going to be a little bit more of a time commitment. But I figure they add like some nice spice to your booth, and you don't have to only keep these exclusive for the graduation hats, right? So if you choose to sew the graduation hats on prior to your market, you can always snip those off after the market, or after graduation season. So I can see you doing this a few ways. If you have a few different local high schools or colleges around you and you know their colors, you could do their graduation caps in their graduation colors, or you can do classic black and then a few of people's like favorite colors like hot pink, orange, green, that sort of thing. Or you could just play around with the tassels. So you can make plain black hats and then do tassel colors, Really, it's all up to you and you get to be super creative, which is why even if, everyone sees this video for some reason, you can still get pretty creative with this. Then you can have them pick out their hat and then you can sew it on for them right at the market, which creates a really, really unique experience. Now, with that, I wouldn't recommend it unless you do have someone who can run the register for you, right? So who can do the cash or accept the card for you. Because if you're busy sewing it up, it can create kind of a chaotic environment if you're trying to sew it up, take the money, bag it up, and all of that. But if you have someone that you can kind of get in a good rhythm with, where if you're sewing this up, They can be taking the payment, getting the bag ready for you, and then you go look it. I feel like that would be the ideal situation for that kind of setup. Now, if you're a solo act and you don't have anyone that can help you, I would say at that point, then sewing the graduation cap onto the plushie would be the better way to go. And then maybe you can keep the tassels separate so that if you're doing a situation where the tassels are the only things that are different colors, then you can sew the tassel on, and that wouldn't be such a crazy thing to do. And then at the end of graduation season, if you do end up with some plushies that didn't sell that have graduation caps, you can decide whether or not you want to keep those in your inventory, or you could just cut off the little hats and save them for next year. Okay, so on to the patterns that I have sourced for you. For this idea, I went ahead and I picked out 4 crochet patterns that are free on Instagram, all in that mid-range, so like upper mid-range of the tier of the pyramid. The first one is going to be a possum. So I know some people are going to hear that and they're going to be like, what? But people really like possums. They really like unusual animals. Possums and raccoons both seem to get a lot of good press, I would say. If you go through the stores right now, you're going to see graduation plushies, graduation gear, but they're probably not going to be possums. They're going to be just your classic bear. So I think the possum is a great one. I did go ahead and make up this one from Dolly's Crochet Shop MK, and it's super duper cute. It's adorable. It doesn't take that long at all, a little over an hour, and then you have this cute, adorable little plushie. And I went ahead and paired it with a black hat. I think it looks super cute, and I love it so much. Next up, we have the Baby Boba Bunny Crochet Pattern by Sweet Pea Plush, and it is super cute. So this is a little bunny, it's a sitter, and it has those long floppy ears, and it has actually like a little boba drink that you can sew and put in the bunny's paws. So for this one, it's kind of a 2-for-1. So you can make the little bunny so that you can put the graduation hat on its head, but you can also make up the boba drink because you're getting that pattern for free anyways, and you can have those on the side, and that can become like more for your shop, right? Like, do you want to add a graduation cap or do you want to add a boba drink, right? So that gives you like another thing that you could add should you choose to go the full like build your own plushie route. This one is super cute, over an hour, but adorable nonetheless. Next up, we have the Storybook Pals, which is a 2-for-1 crochet pattern by Cozy Hobby Room. And let me tell you, I love this one so much. It's actually on my hook right now, but before this video goes out, I will finish it. It is so adorable, guys. You get the option to do either a bear or a frog for this pattern, and they're the same exact body, the same arms, the same everything, but she is so creative. Like, it's kind of genius. So the ears for the bear become the eyes for the frog, and it is so adorable. This pattern actually comes with 2 accessories, or actually 3. It comes with a sprout for the bear's head, and a messenger bag, or a mushroom hat for the frog. So you could make the messenger bag, you could make the mushroom hat, and you could make the sprout, and you could even also offer those. So you know, when this like Build-A-Bear like idea, you can really honestly get as creative with it as you wanted. And that's why I picked the patterns that I did, because they're all going to be in the same general sizing. So all of these accessories you could swip and swap. So all of these accessories you really could just mix and match around for all of these plushies. And then depending on how much time you have, you could make, 2 mushroom hats, 4 graduation caps, 2 messenger bags, and let people like play around really. And last but not least is going to be Benny the Beaver, and this one is by Knotted Angels over on Instagram. This pattern is so adorable. It is by far the most intricate of the patterns that I have on my list for today. I would say that I personally probably wouldn't have more than 1, maybe 2 on my table of this specific pattern, but the beaver I think is the most unique thing here. And especially in Texas, like we have Buc-ee's here, so people are kind of really fond of beavers here. In the video, but I forgot. But if you're looking through your own pattern library and you're trying to figure out a pattern that you can use with this graduation cap to make it easier for yourself, look for something that in the widest part of the head that is like the actual head and not the cheeks, that it's more than, I would say, like 20 stitches in the round, because the cap part that sits on the head is 16 stitches in the round. But I would say you want something that in like the flattest part is going to be like 24 to 30 to 40. Does that make sense? So if you want your hat to be like pretty proportionate, I would say 24 to 30. But if you're wanting like that little teeny tiny cap look, then you're going to want to go bigger than that, like 40, 48, something like that. But yeah, So that should make it easier for you. So definitely not 18, not 16, otherwise it'll swallow it up. But yeah, hope that helps. But like I said, this animal is super unique. It's super cute. I think it would draw a lot of people in, even if they don't end up purchasing that specific plushie. I think it would catch a lot of people's eyes and they would be very impressed with you for having such a wide range of plushies. This one also does come with an accessory. It comes with a little log and a little leaf. So I guess 2 accessories technically. So it's another thing you could add into your little section. It's just an idea I had. I thought I'd share it with you because I think that if I had a market coming up in the next 3 or so weeks, I would definitely hit the ground running with this because I feel like right now, where the economy is a little bit strained, a little bit uncertain, like giving people more than just a plushie, giving them a sort of experience, letting them see a little bit of your personality and your creativity, like really goes a long way in making them feel like they spent their money, not wisely, but I guess like proud of it, you know, like they feel like they gave it to someone that they want to support. And so I think getting creative with the ideas like this, and then plus, like when you're working with someone in order to pick a plushie and build it together, like that's going to create a connection and bond with your customers that is going to go a little bit farther than if they had just come up to your booth, selected an item, and handed you their card. Like this is going to put you in their mind. They're going to remember you. You get to strike up a little bit more of a conversation, which personally for me can be a little bit hard because I am more introverted. I'm not great with small talk, even though I am trying to get better. So it gives you an opportunity like, oh, who's graduating? What school are they graduating from? Oh, this is amazing. They're going to love it. And then like, oh my goodness, if it happens to be the school mascot, that would be amazing. If you know your local school mascot and you can like find a pattern for that, that would be awesome. And you know, it gives you something more out of the market than just standing there for hours selling. Like you get to feel like you're coming away with a better experience as well. But I digress. That's all the yapping I'm going to do today. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you have found some inspiration in this video. If you are going to use one of these patterns, which one is it? Please let me know below. And if you try this out and it goes well, please let me know. Come back to this video and like tell me all about it because honestly, I'm kind of sad that I don't have a market coming up because I really think that this would be such a fun thing and like a community little building exercise to do. All right, guys, that's all for me. I hope you see something that makes you smile, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.